speaker, the author of Against All Odds, a philanthropist, and empowerment speaker. Please welcome to our show, Mr. Mo Stegall in the building.
Hey, man, how y'all doing?
Brother Mo, man, hey, I appreciate you coming on, man. I have been following your journey, and your reputation certainly precedes you. I've heard you speak a number of times, and I said, man, if I can get this cat on my show, the show is now Blue Collar, Blue Diamond, and we're going to the top.
Well, man, it's an honor and a pleasure to be here with you, and man, I'm just excited about it.
Hey, I've had a few speakers and dynamic coaches on this show, and undoubtedly most have a powerful story that launched them on their current course. And I know you're like others, man. What is your story, Mr. Stegall?
Well, man, I grew up in the housing projects of Atlanta, Georgia, and we hear that all the time. But one of the things that I think kind of separated me from a lot of people was my mother saw this is great. My mother saw my destiny before my destiny found me, and she invested in me, taking me out of the housing project environment and sending me away to an aristocratic community where I could be cultivated and shaped differently. Because I believe a lot of our young people who grew up without money, who grew up with limited resources, they are shaped by their environment. And my mother wanted to make sure that, and I believe God spoke to her earlier and said, it almost reminds me of Martha and Jesus' sister. And so, when it came to Moses being predestined to be who he was, John the Baptist, and even Jesus, I believe that's what God did with my mother to let her know that he had called me to bring some change in the world. And so she invested in my life early, and it made the world of a difference to who I have become, not without trial and error, but it has shaped me into the man that a lot of people like and love today.
Brother Stegall, why do you want to help so many people, man? I know that's your calling card. It certainly is, as you said, it's your destiny. Why do you want to help so many others?
Because so many others helped me. It's like, if it wasn't for the people in my community who saw something in me and said, okay, I don't know if I've ever told this story publicly, Clark, so you probably may be the first to hear it. I remember it was this pastor in my neighborhood who really took a liking to me and a couple of other young men because he really wanted to see us succeed. I remember he took us to the gas station one day. It was a 7-Eleven. I'll never forget this. And I'm in the 7-Eleven, and as kids, you sneak and try to do stuff. I'm looking at a Playboy book. And I remember looking back, and I just happened to look up, and he was looking right at me, and he says, "I see you." And then my uncle, I stole some bubble gum from a store one time, and he took me home and whooped my tail on the back porch, and they both said the same thing to me. This is not you. I remember trying to sell drugs, and one of the neighborhood kids, one of the neighborhood drug dealers who was in charge said, "Hey, man, this ain't you. Go home." And so I look back at so many people who said, there's greatness in you, and never allow somebody with no power to your destiny influence your journey. And they said to me at that point, Mo Stegall, you was destined to be something else. And so I look at so many other Mo Stegalls like myself back then now and say, you are destined to be something else. You were designed to win. So why not allow me to show you a different path that you can take? Because that is what I was shown, and that made the world of a difference to me. You do not have to become part of your environment. I lived in the housing projects, but the housing projects never lived in me, and that makes the world of a difference.